Like, oh, look, I've got miners that used to be worth a lot, but then I tried to play games and now they're worth quite little. And the same thing applies for proof of stake. Hey, you've got this massive stake in a thing. Why don't you shoot your investment in the head by doing stupid stuff? No one does it.
Yeah.
It's just
So it's
never
like
happens.
a benevolent whale type of
Well, I mean,
description.
if you believe what is commonly said in startups and open source software is that a benevolent dictator is the most efficient form of governance.
Yeah.
And, you kind of look at that and you're like, look at the Bitcoin code. All of the commits are like two guys. It's like, you're like, okay, you know, there's just there's so many things I know that nobody else knows. This is crazy. I wish I had a larger audience because it could make the world so much smarter. You want to know what wasn't in the Bitcoin white paper? The
What?
inflation rate, the halvening of the interest every 4 years. Those things aren't in there. The block size limit. None of those things are in there. You're like, okay, that's pretty funny because those are really important parameters, right? Like the inflation rate and the fact that it would cut in half every 4 years might be something you might want to chuck in ye old white paper. Bitcoin also has no written spec, so if you want to write a client for it, screw yourself. You're just like, good luck being bug for bug compatible with the C++ version that originally only ran on Windows and had a poker client in it. There's so much stuff I
So
know nobody else knows. It's hilarious.
we have this design. What's to stop a competitor for doing something similar?
Which
Is it
product?
because with something like Hex? Like why is Hex like
Well, let's go
Lindy
over that.
and
Did
foolproof
Hex? Well,
where
no. I mean, to clarify for the audience, he's referring to the Lindy effect, which states that the longer something has existed, the longer it is likely to exist. But notice that Lindy effect argument doesn't speak to market price. So,
right?
pencils have been around a long time, but you really wouldn't have been
That's fair.
you wouldn't
Thanks
have
for
want
the
to been a
clarification.
pencil
Yeah, that was
investor.
needed.
No. So, and I mean, we could, if we're going to play the like analyze laws game, we can get into Metcalfe's law. The value of one fax machine is nothing. The value of like 100 fax machines is 100 squared. So as you can communicate with more people, communication networks become more valuable. But in reality, is the main utility of these networks communication, or is it speculation? It's primarily speculation. So it
Right, for sure.
operates differently. So, what are some other funny laws we could put in there? Uh, what's the one where the good money drives out the bad? Like
Gresham's law.
Gresham's law. Yeah, that one's always misquoted. Gresham's law requires that there be an artificial peg and that people just decide to route around that stupid peg and keep the good money and spend the bad money. But there is no artificial peg to be dealing with here, so it's just an irrelevant non sequitur. But people bring it up all the time.